Hello, everyone, and welcome back to DICEBERG Ahead. You're listening to Extraplanar 2 Electric Boogaloo. My name is Hunter Olson. I'll be your plane master for this evening, and with me today we have...
Scraped off the floor, Jaden plays Yorrik.
Your favorite, Evan Batt, they, them, playing Ales Atheras, they, them.
I'm Chenoa.
The end.
playing a mystery.
You'll find out.
Sauce. Also they, them. Playing Khepri. Khepri.
Yes, everyone, welcome back as we have our special get-together with our friends and family here around the table. I take thee somewhere beyond the border ethereal. Somewhere beyond the border ethereal, amongst birthing stars and the corpses of old gods in the Astral Sea, drifts a mass of stone and structures that forms the asteroid spaceport of Sing Seda. Through the bustling streets of countless extraplanar creatures, fiends, fae, aberrations, and celestials alike, we come to a large terrace built on the horizon side of the asteroid. A shelf of stone with a constructed balcony that once held a simple arcane fountain and served as a gathering space for anyone spending gold at nearby markets. Now, however, it has been converted to another section where ships might make port and trade. Docks jut outward from the terrace and even suspended vertically downward, though there is only a single ship present currently. It sits in the center of the terrace within a large construct of mechanical, divine, and arcane artifice. A golden housing, like a teardrop, set into the ground, as big as a spelljammer itself, with a rounded glass window facing out over the terrace balcony and into space. This is the Godway Network Control Tower, also called the GWNC, or GWNC for short. Below the observation window is a raised dais, or platform, 10 feet high, engraved with runes and affixed with divination, conjuration, and abjuration arcanite. Crystals all diamond and amber and sapphire, glowing with an inner light, as workers in lead-lined arcane hazard suits dump barrels of catalyst into brass spouts. Gilded gears and adamantine cogs are visible, though not yet in motion, and the circular platform has many rings of enchanted metal set into its base. The very center is steel and has a mathematically perfect spell circle engraved on its surface that forms organic shapes when viewed from afar, like a flower or an eye, or the trajectory of a planet's orbit around a sun. Sitting on the platform over the circle is a building atop shimmering pointed steel struts or stilts or fins, suspending its front doors some 15 feet off the dais. Supported by the struts is a tower. Worked stone forms a crooked spire with a trunk-like base that rises and narrows and wanders to a peaked roof with a section open to allow a large telescope apparatus with an array of adjustable lenses, and another section that is domed stained glass, whose patterns and colors seem to shift the longer one stares. All up and down the tower's exterior are offshooting spires and stone balconies, windows round and arched and peaked, some stained glass and some clear, as well as several doors of many shapes and materials, dozens of feet up the tower in different elevations and locations around its circumference, leading to nothing but open air. Stepping out of the large wooden double front doors are Yorrik, Laertes, and Ales Atheras. Stones loose themselves from the tower's foundation and speed obediently to support the two of you as you descend, drifting down on a floating platform of rock and stepping off onto the dais. The stones zip back up and affix themselves to the underside of the tower. Would you like to describe your characters?
Yeah, Yorrik is kind of like head down, just power walking forward. He's got his head in a book that's like melding a little bit into his fingers. He's wearing like a very cut down version of his old vestments, just very like simplified and more like made like an homage to than an actual ritual gown. His head is still shaved bald. He's still painted and tattooed all along it to have the face of a skull with a collection of roses along one side and a plate window onto into some kind of spacescape on the other temple. He's just trundling along. He seems very much not present.
Gotcha. And Ales?
And Ales is still pretty ethereal. That's a funny joke.
Woo!
They are floating down. Rather than the like angelic robes that they were wearing before, they've now got a like white crop top and big puffy sweatpants, and then a bolero over their shoulders with big puffy sleeves. Still the long golden hair, this time in a braid around their side, kind of like the anime Dead Mom hairstyle. A ring of hands in various positions orbiting behind them.
Hell yeah. You've both just finished preparations within the tower itself for takeoff, and Khepri has been sent into the markets grabbing any last-minute supplies that you might need. The journey should be hypothetically quick, but you're traveling farther than most in a single trip. You're trying to prep for a few hours to a few days sailing through the Astral Sea that may or may not be stretched into a few months or so. The lack of specificity is frustrating, but it's the first time anything like this has been attempted. Out in the markets of Sing Seda, Sauce, would you like to describe Khepri?
Khepri is flustered. Her feathers, as an Aarakocra, are ruffled right now. She doesn't like being around a lot of people. She's in her blue golden robes with her staff with the eye that just kind of sits there on the bulb and blinks. She's got her weird little spider familiar on her shoulder, which just looks like a puffball with legs, because that's the only way I can stand to see it. Yeah, she's just looking around for supplies, anything that we need.
Yeah, you've got a detailed list that Yorrik has given you. It's got a lot of material components and healing potions and stuff like that, but and all this rustles merrily in your bag of holding, but you've taken it upon yourself to grab some of the comfort or lifestyle choices that Yorrik tends to kind of forget about, like soap and spices for the kitchen and extra weed for Ales and stuff like that.
Oh.
You've been traveling with Yorrik and Ales for some time now, working alongside them, doing quests for Ra and Jal Giltane, but this is the culmination of months of work, or at least what feels like months of work, because time flows in a strange stutter when you travel the plains as much as you have been. As you walk, you hear various stall vendors calling out to the thinning crowd, "Get your fish suits! Fish suits keep you safe when your spelljammer explodes! In a bind, try the Unburdener. Never be slowed or hindered again. Too busy to travel to and fro, take the staff and go hither and thither instead." But the shoppers seem to be ignoring them as they're filing toward where you know Yorrik's tower is. Takeoff will shortly begin. So if there are any other supplies you want to check out last minute in the markets, otherwise you'll easily be able to fly over the crowd right back to where you gotta go.
I think Capri's just gonna fly over the crowd.
Okay.
She wants to get the fuck out of there.
You flap your wings, take off back towards the tower as a set of artificial eyes watch you fly and follow your trajectory on foot. Back at the tower, Yorrik and Ales. A gnome comes huffing up to you wearing bright blue and gold robes. He's round with copper hair that shimmers like metal and metallic scales like copper freckles across his nose and cheeks. His name is Weimer Pennygold. And he says, "Father Yorrik, preparations are about finished. Hardlight is nearly polished off. It looks like we've got a bit of a crowd going here." And he gestures to the borders of the terrace, which has been fenced off, and there is a steadily growing crowd indeed gathering. You see imps and owlins flying to look over the other onlookers, and plasmoids stretching upwards to get a better view.
Well, I should very much hope so. This is going to be a crowning achievement in your career, Mr. Pennyhold.
It's a great sign. It means word will spread about the godways. More ports can be built. We can expand the network. It's safer travel for anyone. That's the promise, anyway. We
Absolutely.
just have to deliver now.
Ales is going to go over to the crowd and start ingratiating themselves.
Hell yeah. Yeah, you just start shaking people's hands and be like, "Sup, Alice?"
Oh, sorry, I'm on the ship, guys. That's me. Isn't that fucking rad?
Yeah, people are asking for autographs and stuff.
Signing 30 at a time.
You're having a full, like, astronaut experience.
Yeah.
Weimer is smiling and just whispers to Yorrik, "This shouldn't blow up, right? This won't blow up."
No, I should certainly hope not.
I've worked with catalyst engines before, smaller than these, and a lot of those blew up.
That's why we picked you. You've brought a tremendous amount of experience to the field.
I
and
know all
team,
the ways to make it not blow up now.
which is exactly what we were looking for.
Make a persuasion check.
Yeah. Natural 20.
You've given him inspiration.
Damn, Bard.
I've checked your numbers. I'm thoroughly impressed.
He seems to puff up a little bit and goes, "Well, I suppose we just have final checks, if everything is good inside the tower. I'll check with Gwyncy, make sure the divining and abjuring is all set. I haven't seen that warforged that's supposed to be here. I figured they'd be punctual. Once they arrive and give you what you need, you could just give the word through the talk box in your tower, and then we can get set for takeoff."
Excellent.
He starts filing off back towards the Gwyncy Tower. You see Dwergar and Eladrin and automatons the size of gnomes, dryads, all of them in matching uniforms, making their way up through a side entrance into the GWNC Tower. Some to assist with the launch, and some to simply bear witness, using their position to get better seats. You can hear rumblings and the ticking of gears as the dais begins to hum with life, and the affixed arcanite crystals thrum with energy. And with the sound of flapping wings, Khepri descends from the air and lands next to you.
I got everything that you wanted.
Thank
And
you.
some more. You tend to forget spices are important in cooking. And I'm a bird, so...
I thought that... No, you know what? You're absolutely right. I'll have Hans double check my lists for amenities.
Well, we're doing this.
We're doing this.
We're fucking doing it.
I do want... You guys don't think it's gonna blow up, right?
Nah, dude, because, like, what the fuck was his name again?
Weimer.
Weimer?
Weimer Pennygold.
Yeah, because, like, you know, Weimer has managed to not die so many times. I figure they're probably good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or else he's cursed to be incredibly unlucky and to kill people next to him.
Oh, well.
He's just really good at ducking. As you all speak, you may or may not hear the sound of footsteps approaching, and you turn. Chenoa, would you like to describe your character?
You see kind of approaching with the very metallic steps against the cobble road?
Yeah, it's like stone terrace.
You see a warforge with a fairly simple faceplate, except for some slight grooves that give the impression of like a brow line and a bridge. She is wearing a like dark bluish coat. She's got pretty much an entire like metal automaton hand. You can see that she's just very outfitted out with sigils and like a very bright glowing light coming from the center of her chest. Her feet are arched, kind of like those like prosthetics that runners use, and she walks up to the doors.
As he sees a whole bunch of magic coming his way, Yorrik's book immediately melts into his hand as like a sleeve tattoo, and it leaves behind where the book was a tiny incorporeal head that's just a single little skull in a rose that kind of just floats next to him and starts looking at this warforged. I'm gonna cast Detect Magic and just like...
Yeah, there's a lot of magic.
You're blinded.
Magic!
I can describe like literally every single magic piece that you pick up on. Face mask is enchanted. There is an entire back plate that seems to be removable and is also enchanted. The cloak that she is wearing is definitely magical, and you can pick up very, very strong forces of magic right at the center of her chest. but like basically just glowing.
In Yorik's head is just a tiny child bouncing up and down, going yes, 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 yes. Brushes off his vestment, sticks out his hand as authoritatively as he can.
Greetings.
Hello.
I reach out my hand to
I
shake.
formally invite you into my tower. Sorry, I'm not supposed to say that, or I am supposed to say that. That's just for the magic. There's things that'll go wrong if I don't.
I understand.
You see enormous like turrets like shutting down.
Yorrik does have a bomb under the doormat.
It's a normal doormat with like a orb bomb underneath of it,
Cartoony bomb.
and you can see the fucking impression of it.
This is Acme.
Awful.
Yeah.
It is good to see that we will be well protected.
Yes, of course. I'm so terribly sorry to so incredibly fail to make a good first impression in this moment.
Introductions?
But yes, how about we start there? I think I might have missed the meeting. It sounds like other people knew you were coming. I sort of thought it was just sort of me and my friends, my crew.
Affirmative. I am AYCE-Reframed.
Alright. Do you mind if I just double check how you spell that?
AYCE-REFRAMED.
The letters scroll across petals on the little skull floating next to Yorrik. And he's, thank you very much.
And you are?
Yorrik, there it is. He's like, he keeps trying to reinitiate a handshake over and over again.
I keep offering my left hand.
I think eventually he just takes it in both of his and just looks you in the eye, and he's just afraid. He just goes, I'm Yorrik. I'm so sorry. I think I might be having a problem.
Are you having an internal malfunction?
I think so.
Yorrik, go back to the ship and touch some rocks.
Yorrik
all right, like
disappears in mist.
What's up, dude? My name's Alice, and then like 5 hands come down and clasp onto yours, including both of Alice's armed hands.
Yes.
I'm Ales Atheras. What's the fuck up, dude?
Nice to meet you, Ales Atheras.
Yeah. Ace, nice.
ACE, or Reframed.
AYCE-Reframed. And this is my good friend.
Hi, I'm Khepri.
Your feathers are gorgeous.
Thank you. I trimmed them today.
They're so pretty.
I am very excited to get acquainted with everyone on the tower? Ship? What would you call this?
All of the above.
Perfect.
Home.
Yorrik
Home,
has
yes.
Yorrik 100% has not named the tower.
Yorrik Tower.
It's just a little.
I call it the Keef Mobile.
Keef Mobile.
That is not its name.
Marijuana.
Yeah. You see the greenhouse up there?
I look up.
That's all there is, dude.
Holy shit.
Hydroponics.
How do you survive?
I feed them.
You. I look back over.
Yorrik is like in the greenhouse, like peeking out of the window. Just-
Weimer comes back down from the control tower and sees Ace here and goes, "Oh, hello. It's good to see you. You're finally here." And he like reaches up to shake your hand.
Yes.
He seems a little off put, but he's like, "And you've got we were told we would have like a diplomacy chip. Is that something that you've got on your person?"
Affirmative.
Great. And you're going with them then?
Yes, I have great knowledge.
Understood. Good. Better to have a guide, I guess. I'll write that down. He like crosses off something on a clipboard and writes
Great
out something
knowledge.
else. Great knowledge. And he goes, "Okay. Well, as soon as you're in the tower and give the go signal, I'll start doing my spiel down there, and we should be set for takeoff, unless there's anything else you want to do. But we've delayed long enough, I think."
I would love a tour while we are traveling.
I think I could do that.
Wonderful.
I'll show you all my stashes.
That will be very useful in the future, but not for me.
We can figure it out.
So y'all give like a brief view of the tower. Jay, if you would mind, because I didn't copy down my notes about Yorik's levels of his tower into my drive, if you could give a summary of like the different levels real quick.
Yes, 100%. Here, I've got. So the tower is 6 stories tall, The first room, as you kind of enter in, is this very it's the couch room. This is where there's a studio apartment style kitchen in one corner that Khepri has sole dominion over. And it's just a whole bunch of large, obviously just sourced from very different places couches. There's a leather one, there's a big one that's made of a shag rug. It's got a whole bunch of just a whole bunch of different shapes and fainting couches. They're just all around the room, and they all kind of face towards this enormous fireplace that just kind of passively, almost hypnotically waves and just sort of creates an ambient shape in the background. Along all the walls are images of Yorrik's friends doing cool shit. I don't remember
their names.
I don't remember their names.
Look, I know what they look like. That's all that I need.
I had gone through and written descriptions about what each one looks like, but there's one of Khepri fending off a beholder. There's Alice and the Tlinkali, which is labeled Tragedy of the Atheras son.
Yeah, Alice loves on late nights staring at their body getting fucking ripped in half and just gushing full of poison. It's one of their favorite.
It's the rest of his party fainting on rocks, and you're midair holding your bow staff like a spear with the stinger in your ribs.
Alice is I'm dead. I'm a ghost.
Interesting how that happens.
A half-orc warrior woman fighting a dragon, and then a big group photo. One of the only ones that has, I think maybe the only one that has Yorrik in it.
The whole building.
In the whole building is him and the rest of these figures, aside from Khepri, because Khepri wasn't there, but in front of some kind of vehicle.
As you come down, a big Hunchback of Notre Dame style leather puppet. It's just a leather sock puppet. Wearing an ill-fitting sort of butler's uniform, sort of sidles into the room. And Yorrik says, Hans, new guest, this is Ace reformatted?
Reframed.
Reframed.
Reformatted. It's a bit long.
I'm in Outlook now.
I'm playing a character who can write notes with his mind, and because of that, I've decided that I'm not going to write any notes at all.
I just have to get good and remember it.
Yorrik, Hans will come out and he'll take people's jackets and supply them with whatever their favorite drink is, and then just kind of stop in front of Ace and just kind of look at her.
I'm good, thank you.
Turns around and sidles on out of there. He's uncomfortable. He moves like he is stop motion claymation. It's just that too smooth movement mixed with the jitteriness. The second floor, as you go up, there's a small nook with some bathrobes on a hook and some lockers on one side, and then as you open the door into the rest of the tower, the staircase, I should say, goes around the outside of the tower. So each floor is basically just one room. Inside the second floor is a huge sauna, is a whole bunch of baths and just places to recreationally sit down in damp heat. Yorrik rushes you through 3 and 4 pretty quickly. These are bedrooms. He basically says, I've got the first one, which is probably the one that Khepri sleeps in, and maybe Alice as well. Just has a whole bunch of frames and mattresses that Yorrik has just found on streets places and brought into his tower. And
I've just made my own nest because beds and wings for whatever reason are uncomfortable.
Yeah. That makes...
Alice has a series of hammocks.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
One corner is just hammocks, and another corner is nest, and then a bunch of bedrolls.
It's just a bunch of empty
guests.
metal bed frames that just litter the middle of it like you've walked into a Fallout room. And
there's a bunch of those in Alice's corner. The macrame nets hanging down from the ceiling, just holding random bullshit.
Yeah.
In the room above that is another bedroom. It's a single bedroom. There's a giant king-size bed that takes up the middle. It's got a huge set of curtains. There's a nice little wardrobe next to it, and then a mirror. And Yorik's and this is my room. And then he takes you up. to the fifth, which you can tell immediately is like an Arcana workshop. This is where the
Ooh.
This is where the vestibule this is where the magic happens. This is where the vestibule with the telescope like sticks out of one wall, and there's like a bunch of like Yorik's been like trying and failing to get like a spell circle drawn into one wall, and he's like a whole bunch of like work sites, and then you can see the bed that Yorrik actually sleeps in is a single mattress with a blanket that's just in a corner of the room.
This is to be expected.
I want to go study the spell ring that you've been working on.
I just haven't cracked it. I saw it done once, and I know that it would be so useful to just have one here, just a gate.
What are you trying to do?
I wanted to. I've seen people make warp gates, and I just wanted to see if I could make a location for one to be built here.
Oh, I understand.
What?
I understand.
Excellent. Do you have any?
Can I study it and see what the fuck he did wrong?
Yeah, if you want to make an Arcana check.
Yeah, I will.
If Yorrik is helping in any way.
100%.
And just for my clarification, this is Yorik's attempt to do like a plane shifty kind of teleporty spell circle dealio.
He wants a teleportation circle.
Okay,
24.
Gotcha. Whew. Yes. Yes, I think the complication that Yorrik seems to be struggling with as you follow like the lines of glyphs is the fact that the tower itself moves in space. So using these like weave coordinates to mark your teleportation trajectory to a point in space that is frequently moving is difficult, but not impossible if you find a way to have variable glyphs move in and out of the circle.
I have a suggestion. Have you thought about building it such like a clock, where you turn certain dials to change the location of it?
Then we could create a modular system.
Exactly.
It's exponentially multiplies how many locations I could say that it is. That's genius. I would
Thank you.
start working on this right now.
You're like looking to the talk box and then looking down at the circle, and you're like, ah.
Okay, well, isn't that going to be fun? Well, we'll have a couple more hours to work on that on our trip.
Eureka! Time for a different project.
That's
Godways, let's forget about those.
Yorrik take sitting right next to the telescope so that you can look into it is a simple wooden dining chair that is fused into the ground and seems to be covered in like a glazing of crystal.
Is this the top floor?
This is the top floor, yeah.
Okay.
That's the helm, I assume.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
It's got some little desk spaces next to it with a whole bunch of like star charts and like equations for that kind of stuff.
Can I look at the star charts? I'm nosy as fuck.
A lot of them probably show Yorrik spending a lot of time near the Hells.
Yeah.
Suspicious, but okay.
Probably the Hells and or Eranos.
He probably spent a lot of time near Pandora or
Pandemonium.
Pandemonium, thank you.
Yes. Is there anything else your characters do before signaling that you're ready for takeoff?
I piss on the floor.
Is there anyone else on the ship? So us four, and then
it's you four, Hans. Weimer it will not be accompanying you.
Okay.
Weimer is just sort of the head of the control tower, is overseeing the launch and everything like that. He's one of the lead artificers on the job as well.
Yeah.
As soon as you give the signal, he's going to be activating it.
Yeah, I'll start like writing the signal, and then like a mage hand will come out and it'll reach into my pocket and I'll say, "Oh, by the way, Ace, trust is a big thing for us, and we need to know that you're on our side, and you need to know that we're on yours." So I hand you a scroll of Featherfall and a scroll of Air Bubble.
Ooh.
Both of them should be one level above the actual spell.
Knowledge absorbed.
What a novel method of download.
So there was Air Bubble and Featherfall?
Yeah.
Cool.
You all take your positions in the tower, And after giving the word, the GWNC tower begins implementing their divine calculations, and Weimer, for anyone looking out windows or whatever, approaches the crowd outside and starts giving a speech. Entities of all creation. It gets epic now. You have gathered here to bear witness as we bless the first use of the godways network. With the unveiling of this network, we can allow safe, long-distance astral travel for all. Those once too far from home may now return. Those that wish to see far-flung planes may do so, and those that wish to explore the edge of the unknown will have the blessing of the God of Guidance. As he speaks, the gears and cogs of the dais begin to shudder and lurch into action. With the Godways network, we will establish safe routes of travel so that a spelljammer may travel even without a pilot at the helm, with disregard of any dangers along their path. The metal rings set into the platform's base rise upward with no supports and seem to grow as they orbit and encircle the tower itself. The crowd oohs and ahs appreciatively. Wyman continues. We now engage divine calculations and scrying scans to secure the Spelljammer's destination. When those are locked, we enshroud the Spelljammer with protective wards. No teleportation, plane of travel, or spell may pierce this barrier. In fact, nothing short of divine intervention is able to do so. This promises a safe and uninterrupted journey. As the metal rings orbit and spin faster and faster, they seem to leave behind a shimmering golden white field of energy, like a sphere surrounding the entire building, growing more and more saturated each time a ring spins past. The tower lifts into the air alongside the rings encircling it. The arcanite crystals hum resonantly as they drink catalyst in vast quantities. When the Spelljammer is fully warded, a divine tunnel of sorts is opened in the weave. No astral, ethereal, nor even material. The Spelljammer will cross the Astral Sea along a predetermined path at speeds never before seen. There's a much larger portion of applause, which seems to embolden Weimer as he looks upon his project in all its glory. He calls, "Should be about 6 seconds now." Then, everyone inside the tower hears the talk box spark into life. This is GWNC Tower. We have spiked readings here, rising fast. There is the muffled sound of explosions as one of the catalyst fuel tanks erupts in a bulbous cloud of roiling green flame.
Penny gold.
Is Yorrik in the helm?
Yorrik is 100%, yeah, he's in the helm.
So you're sitting there, you're focusing. You sense these things going off, but the Spelljammer is midair and angling towards its trajectory at the moment. Evan, Ales, I should say, if you were for anyone at the windows, it'll be a perception check to see what's going on.
I'll roll a perception.
Don't know why I singled out Ales first before I gave that suggestion.
Ales is going to be in the helm.
Okay. Ace. No.
11.
I got a 7, so I think I'm...
Gotcha. You rush to the window, and you're trying to see, but there is smoke and green flame surrounding the area. A figure, quick as a flash, seems to dart through the smoke and is moving around. You see spells flying through the smoke as GWNC workers are trying to stop them in this surprise round.
Is there any action? Can I take an action?
What sort of action are you looking to take?
I want to see if I can banish a chunk of the catalyst.
Okay. So you're casting the spell. I think unfortunately you sort of step out of the helm. The tower remains working as normal, and you move to a window or a door and point your hand outward, and you feel your magic strike the barrier of the wards surrounding the tower.
Right. Cool. So I'll just mark that slot off.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yorrik, you are like leaning out of this open door. The sound of the rings that are encircling the tower moving fast send large gusts of winds blowing across your your naked head. There is another explosion, this time of red and orange flame, as one of the rings itself is struck almost right in front of your face. I need a dex save. That took a journey.
It did. To get us to an 8. on the die, plus 0.
So you look, and one of the rings from the exterior is struck. You see a fireball essentially go off. The fire stops at the barrier. You are protected from that damage. It does, however, sort of throw you backwards into the tower. You watch as the rings are now warbling somewhat unstably, and you feel the tower begin to shift. If someone doesn't hop in a helm and make a check, your trajectory could be seriously thrown off course.
I'll fucking stumble my way back in there, and I'm shouting. There's a whole bunch of brass gramophones that come out of all the filigree in the entire tower, and you guys just hear Yorrik's voice. Bad trouble, brace for something. And, I just want to punch us in there because we need to test the godways.
Okay.
If I'm within range...
I was going to say, I might say Yorrik is at a different level, but you can tell someone else to hop in a helm.
I'm in the helm.
Yeah.
I'll hold it down until someone better can get there.
Okay. What's the check? Is it going to be an Arcana check to helm?
I'll pull it up real quick, but it should be a piloting check.
Alice should be... Alice has a reason to be proficient. They've been working here. I think that
Khepri might.
Khepri's working for the god of paths and finding places. I think
that's true.
Requires a spellcaster to sit in the helm and use their magical abilities.
I can.
Alice is sitting there trying to pump key into it.
Yeah, I can get there.
Yeah.
Someone else, please.
And I attempt to reorient. Is this going to be a spell?
Okay, so it basically says all you need is the ability to cast spells, and it doesn't say anything about checks, so I'm going to extrapolate that to be you can use your spellcasting modifier.
Okay.
Your spellcasting ability plus proficiency.
Yes.
To make this piloting check.
Okay.
I will do my best.
So you quickly step into the chair.
16.
16? Okay. You grab the arms of the chair, you do your best to reorient, you feel the tower shudder. Yorrik, you recognize that someone has taken the helm.
Okay.
And the last thing you all hear is the scream of the crowd, the rumbling of more catalyst tanks catching fire, and the warbling of metal rings as they suddenly come to a stop, and you're blinded by a flash of light. You shut your eyes, bracing for the tower to come apart, for some terrible explosion, the lurch of an immediate jump to unimaginable speeds. But there's no G-force or increase of inertia. Only golden white light hitting your closed eyelids, or in your case, hitting the blank hitting the blank screen of your face.
Got like sunglasses that.
You all open your eyes. Yorrik, you can see out the door. You were just leaning out. Rather than stars streaking past, or the kaleidoscope of swirling color when you move at spell-jamming speed, instead you see what looks like a tunnel of radiant energy, somewhere between ethereal mist or glittering diamond dust, undulating sea foam, or white fire. Its patterns are incomprehensible and shift with strange shudders and jerks as you travel the twists and turns of this energy tunnel at unknowable speeds. Though again, you aren't pulled into your seats or thrown to the floor. All other senses are telling you you're stationary.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, no.
You might not have realized you've left Sing Seda far, far behind.
We're fucking zooming, dude.
I think that's a good place to stop this episode.
Kind of short.
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
Yeah,
But
kind of short.
Just like my
Just
penis.
little entry.
It's going to give me extra time to either have both the next episode be longer and also get more notes.
Yeah.
So thank you all so much for listening.
Thank you.
Where our heroes will end up, we'll have to find out next time.
Oh yeah, we need a Star Trek Q thing for us all to act like we're being thrown around.
We're like in space, my dude.
Next time to find out. Thanks for listening. Background music for the Emergence podcast was provided by Tabletop Audio. For more DICEBERG content, follow us on our Patreon and socials, or visit us on our website at DICEBERG Ahead.com.